Welcome back to Days. I'm here with Reed Malleck. He is from York, Nebraska. He's majoring in finance here at the University of Nebraska. Plays on the golf team. Excited you're here on the show today. So to start, tell us about your recruiting experience. You're from Nebraska, chose to play here at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah.
Why did you choose UNL, and kind of walk us through your recruiting process?
Yeah, so my recruiting process was interesting, I guess. Like, there was a good amount of interest in me, like, as a freshman or sophomore, got some attention from some bigger schools, or like more out-of-state schools, Power 5. And then kind of towards the end, didn't necessarily have an incredible high school career, but a good high school career. Had a lot of good options, some great coaches I talked to, really enjoyed it. But ultimately, kind of being a Nebraska kid, I knew, like, this is where I grew up. If I got the opportunity to play for Nebraska, it's where I wanted to be. And when all the chips kind of settled, it was the best option for me, both financially, academically, golf-wise. It was just a really good chance for me to come play college athletics and also get a degree at the same time.
Yeah.
So I kind of knew it was the place for me.
Gotcha. So Division I golfer, kind of walk us through the day-to-day tasks, responsibilities that you have to do to prepare and compete at the Division I level.
Yeah, so, I don't look like it usually, but we do work out some. Usually like 3 to 4 days a week we'll have morning lifts. And then a lot of it ends up being on your own. Golf isn't really a sport that you can practice for just the 20 hours that the NCAA allows you per week. So usually it looks kind of like go out to the course around 1, get a little practice in before our scheduled tee time at 2 that you play like 9 or something. Till about 4, and then that's kind of your scheduled practice. But then usually we kind of stick around till 5, 6, kind of depending on what time of year, how much sunlight we got. So it's really a sport it's really on your own. However much you want to put into it, you can. Like, if you want to get by with just going and playing 9 holes a day, kind of can. But like, if you want to excel, like, you got to know that there's some extra work to be put in on your own.
Yeah, definitely. So you kind of touched on it about the weather. Talk to us about Big Ten golf. Obviously, it's a sport you play outside. Talk to us kind of about the differences between Big Ten golf and maybe a conference like the SEC where the weather's a little bit warmer, and then how the Big Ten stacks up against other conferences.
Yeah, so like Big Ten golf as a whole probably isn't quite as strong as like the Big 12 and SEC. I'd say we're pretty competitive with the other 2 Power 5 conferences or so. But we have Illinois, who's year in, year out, one of the better teams in the country, and they're a great program. With Big Ten golf, kind of the important parts, you're just getting out of the cold earlier in the year. So like come springtime, we'll travel a lot in February to Arizona or Florida for practice trips, tournaments, whatever, and try and be out of the snow as much as possible. So it's pretty fun because in golf we don't necessarily just play our conference members. Tournaments are kind of scheduled by your coach, so a lot of the time we're playing a lot of SEC teams, Big 12 teams, teams from all over. So it's a good chance for us to see kind of how we stack up against those that aren't necessarily in the same environment that we're in. And then obviously we have our conference tournament at the end of the year where we kind of get to see where we stack up against the others in our conference.
Okay, interesting. So kind of switching gears, academically, majoring in finance. I believe Big Ten Distinguished Scholar before. You have quite a bit of academic feats. Talk to us about managing your rigorous course load with playing golf at the Division I level and some of the academic accomplishments that you've achieved over the years.
Yeah, I'd say just with any sport, playing collegiate and trying to do school, you got to be really on top of communication with your professors and the support staff that we have around here with our life skills department and tutors. So like I know for me this fall, I missed like 4 out of 5 Wednesday classes or something in a 5-week stretch. We were just traveling a ton. So it's pretty hard to be caught up on class, but usually if you just talk to professors and like tell them the situation, they're super accommodating and help you out. And on top of that, it's pretty hard, but you kind of got to get the guys to leave you alone a little bit sometimes when you're in the hotel room, get something done every now and then. But a lot of us try and just do do all of our homework before we hit the road, and then we can get out there and have 4 days where we don't worry about anything. Maybe do a little studying on the side.
I interviewed Drew Christo, and he's majoring in the medical sector, and he said the same thing. You got to get your classes all situated at the beginning of the week if you're traveling at the end, and making sure you're doing that homework so that the weekend you can just focus on your sport. So
class scheduling's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, just having a schedule that allows you to travel, getting Fridays off, whatever you can do is really big.
Definitely. So talk to us about some of your athletic feats, some of the, what's your biggest moment, I'd say, in collegiate golf? What's the one thing that sticks out to you the most in terms of your career here at the University of Nebraska?
I'd say for me it was probably Big Ten match play in my sophomore year as of now. It was kind of my first time really getting a taste at college golf. I'd been in the lineup a few times, but kind of sparsely and didn't perform extremely well. When we had Big Ten match play, I was able to go out and go 3-0 in my matches, which for a sophomore newcomer was pretty cool. Gave me a lot of confidence to be able to know that I'm good enough to be here and compete with the guys on this level. And I'd say ever since then, it's kind of just building off of that, and haven't had a ton of great finishes, and that's kind of how golf goes sometimes. It's 100 guys going for one guy that wins. There's not a lot of instant success a lot of the time. You kind of have to analyze it as, am I getting better? What am I doing to make up ground on those guys who are beating me? And I feel like I've done a good job with that, and it's been a fun process. Yeah.
So going off of that, what is the best part of your golf game? What do you think your strength is?
I'd say I'm very straight off the tee. I'm not super long. Most guys probably hit it by me. Hell, you could probably hit it by me. No, I'm just kidding.
I probably couldn't.
But no, I'd say I hit it pretty straight. My iron play is pretty good, and I'm pretty comfortable with the putts from 5 feet and in.
Gotcha.
A good amount of those.
So you're a pretty consistent player.
Yeah,
you say.
pretty consistent.
Do the small things right. Do the details right.
Yeah, not gonna do anything to blow your socks off ever. It's pretty boring, but
boring wins, man.
Yeah, boring wins at times every now and then. So, no, that's.
So other than golf, what do you like to do in your free time?
Yeah, so I'd say my two favorite things are I love hanging out with my friends. They give me some sanity away from golf. It's a sport where you're in your own head a lot of the time, so having some other people to talk with, and obviously they're on the golf team, which sometimes we kind of get in an endless cycle of talking about golf, but been lucky enough to get some friends on other teams here, and that helps out a lot too, just to hear other people's perspectives on what they're experiencing and how that can maybe help me out. And then on top of that, I like to play some video games every now and then. Not huge into it. Pretty involved with my church group, and love to play some guitar on the side as well.
Oh, okay.
So
sweet. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I love doing that stuff. It's fun.
Yeah. So majoring in finance, about to graduate at the end of this year, right? And so, what do you see yourself doing after sport?
So immediately after this year, there's potential I'll try and turn pro. We'll kind of see what those options look like when the time comes. If not, though, I have always said I wanted to work somewhere in the finance field. Originally, it was financial advising, and that's still definitely an option for me, something that I'm looking into. But as I've kind of gone on with college, I've seen that there's a lot of options out there of what you could do, and I know coming out of the University of Nebraska and having great alumni, there'll be a lot of awesome opportunities, and kind of just gonna feel it out when the time comes, and kind of see what my best options are and what I think will kind of be fulfilling for me.
Great. Yeah. Well, Reed, thank you so much for coming on today. You gave us some great insight into the athletic side of things, the academic side of things, how you manage the two, some of your highlights in your college career, and so thank you very much, and look forward to talking with you soon, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Reed.